Alrighty, good morning everybody. Hello. Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. How is everyone today? How you doing? I am feeling sluggish and tired today. Hooey. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why. But I'm ready for a full day of streaming. I just need to stay awake. I did have a coffee this morning. So hopefully the caffeine will kick in soon and then I won't feel so yawny. You know, a day when you're just going to keep yawning and like, oh, that's kind of how I feel today. All right. So anyway, today is Monday, April 5th, 2021. And of course, I'm Darkside Phil and I welcome you here to my first of two gameplay streams for the day. It should be a good one. I'm actually excited for this session of Divinity 2 because it looks like we're going to wrap up all of the activity on Fort Joy. We're going to do the odds and ends that, you know, are left over that I haven't done yet. So I hope that those of you who have played this game and know about the stuff that I haven't done yet will help me out and let me know exactly what I need to do that's left over. Besides, I know there's the enchanted chest, right? But outside of that, I don't know what else there is left on Fort Joy or on the island of Fort Joy here before we leave. But I hope you will enjoy this fun stream where we're going to do all the leftovers and then basically leave Fort Joy and see what else is next in the game because I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect. So this should be a good stream. All right. And then tonight, I'm getting ahead of myself here because I'm excited for tomorrow. You can't tell I'm already talking about it. Later tonight, the late stream will be Black Ops Cold War. And tonight I'm going to do something that a lot of people have been doing all along. I'm going to go Shoddy Sniper. For those who don't know what that means, it means your main weapon is a sniper rifle and then your secondary is a shotgun. So basically when you're running around, if someone gets up close, you can just boom, blow them right away with the shotgun, but then set yourself up to snipe. It's a common loadout. In fact, Shoddy Snipers was a mode way back when in Halo 3. That's correct. That's where I got the terminology from. They called it Shoddy Sniper mode, where it was either you have a shotgun or sniper rifle, or that's it. You couldn't have any other weapons. So, pretty cool. I'm going to try that out tonight, see how it goes. All right, so it'll be a late night stream of Black Ops Cold War tonight, trying that out. Tomorrow is the big day, everyone. Tomorrow is the day everyone's been looking forward to. Everyone's anticipating. Your hype levels are still building. Tomorrow is my birthday. And I've decided to cancel everything. I'm canceling everything I was going to do on my birthday to just have a nice, relaxing day at home. So, screw all that. I'll see you guys Friday. I'm going to take like 3 days off. Yeah, right. No, tomorrow is my birthday, April 6th. Tomorrow is a big day because it is a marathon event. Marathon. Starting in the morning, going all day long till like 7, 8 p.m. Okay? The stream itself will be interesting because I'll be playing Classic Super Mario Bros. 1 and the Lost Levels. For those who don't know, I have never actually played Classic Super Mario. Ever. Here on the streams. Or on YouTube. Never. I never played them. You may think, wow, if someone's a content creator, a gamer, that's one of the first things you do is play the classics, right? Well, I played Super Mario 3. I played Super Mario World. I never played the original Super Mario games, all right? When I'm doing these, I'll be doing them as a challenge run, meaning I'm going to set up objectives for me to try to complete. You know, beat the whole stage in 30 seconds. Beat the whole world without losing the light. Etc., etc. Okay? And as I do those, you guys will be wagering your channel points on whether or not I will succeed or fail. Now, I predict that the early worlds of Super Mario Brothers won't be so hard, but the later worlds will be. Also, I'm not going to warp or anything. I'm just going to go straight through the worlds and try to beat every single stage in the game. Okay? So it should be pretty exciting. In addition to that, which is a first, I've never done a stream like that before. Okay? There'll be a live DSP tries it during the show. Alright? I'm not going to even tell you. I'm not going to hint at what it's going to be. Because I want it to be a complete and shocking surprise for everyone. Okay? In addition to that, I'll be wearing a pair of jeans. Not to say that that's anything exciting, but some people apparently think it is. But that was because of a sub goal that was hit, which makes no sense, but I know. It's really stupid, but whatever. But in addition to that, there will be a live reveal during the birthday stream at some point. A live reveal, and you guys hopefully will like the live reveal and be very, very excited. And in addition to all of that, since it is actually my birthday tomorrow, at some point, I'm going to have a piece of birthday cake. Okay? My wife's actually making me my birthday cake later tonight when she gets home from work. So, this is going to be a very momentous, exciting occasion. Lots of stuff going on. You know, but just outside of the marathon event, which is something unique, we got so many other extra things happening. It should be a really fun day. So, if you can join me tomorrow during the event, I hope you will. I hope you will join me during the big birthday bash blowout event tomorrow. Okay? I hope you'll join me. If not, well, what's your problem? I'm just kidding. If you can't attend live, of course, I'll be recording it and uploading it to YouTube afterward. So you'll be able to catch up after the fact if you cannot be here live. But hey, if you can be here live, please do. Now, another thing, guys. There's a new monthly sub goal set up. 900 subs. And unlike other months, where we hit a sub goal, then I set a tier 2 sub goal, then I hit a tier 3 sub goal. Instead of doing all that, this month there's only going to be one sub goal. 900 subs. Now, that's a far cry. That's going to be tough to reach, I feel. Especially because there are several sub bombs that were dropped in the month of March. And, of course, at some point, those subs are going to expire. Alright? But, if we hit this sub goal, number one, I'm going to be doing a special event, a retro replay, where you guys are going to be nominating and voting on a game that I've already played, but it had to be from 2015 or earlier. So we're talking 5 to 6 years ago or longer. The point of this event is to do a full playthrough of the game with direct capture and live streaming interaction, which obviously if I played it 2015 or earlier, I didn't have those things. Okay? In addition to that, there will be a marathon where when I first start this playthrough, whatever it may be, I'm going to do it as a marathon. So I'll sit down and play it for like 6-7 hours in one sitting to get a great headway into the playthrough. Then after that, it'll become like a regular playthrough and regularly scheduled streams, but it'll actually lock in a special marathon event. And in addition to that, in addition to all of that, I will do a live DSP Tries It during that marathon event as well. So, you see what I'm doing here? Instead of saying Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and keep stretching and moving the goalpost and everything for the month of April, we have one giant subs goal of 900 subs, but you're going to get multiple things for hitting it. Okay? How does that sound? I hope that sounds good to you. A lot of people yesterday had some good ideas of games that they would like to see me replay. So people are saying something right now. Indigo Prophecy. Wow, Indigo Prophecy. Holy shit. Now that's an old one. And they redid that one for modern consoles, didn't they? Of course, people are saying, classics such as the Fallout series. Some people are saying, what about the older Resident Evil games? Especially because a lot of those games are now going to be removed from the PlayStation Store. That maybe would be a good opportunity for me to play some of those. Yeah, there's potential for a lot of different playthroughs to happen with this event. Okay? So, if you would like to see this happen, please either subscribe or gift some subscriptions. Alright? I know for a fact we're going to have some sub bombs expire coming up soon. I suspect as many as 1 to 200 subs are going to expire. I'm not kidding. I think about 1 to 200 subs are going to expire on this channel within the next couple of weeks. So now is the time to make it happen. Tomorrow's my birthday special event. Perhaps then we will see some big sub bombs be dropped, and perhaps tomorrow we will hit the goal. Who knows? We shall see what happens. But there you go. Just throwing that out there. Okay? Right now, Jasper's trying to get into the closet. I don't know why he can't get the door open, because usually he gets it open easily. But for some reason, he can't get it open. Maybe it's blocked because I set up these Halloween decorations. Let me see, buddy. There you go. There you go. Now you can go in. Yeah, I see the decorations were moved around a little bit in there. There's a bag like right in front of his paw. I see. Okay, anyway. Whew, so I'm excited for tomorrow. I really am. I'm very excited for tomorrow's event. I hope you guys are excited for tomorrow's event too. It should be a really good time, I feel. A party atmosphere, for sure. Since it's not an ongoing narrative playthrough, it's just me kind of completing challenges in Mario and doing a bunch of silly stuff. It should be a really good time. Hope you'll come by and hang out and support and have a good time with me if you can. Alright? I'm off from streaming on Wednesday. I return on Thursday. And on Thursday, it is the continuation of Danganronpa V3. Which should be good because now we're into the next part of the game. We already had our first murder and our first investigation. So, excuse me, I'm actually curious what's going to happen moving on with the story now. Okay? Then Thursday night, I'm trying to remember what I set up. I think I set it up to be more Call of Duty. And then Friday, it's going to be the continuation of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. And Lord, I hope we have progress this time. The problem is that the stage I'm in has no checkpoints. And when you get to this last part of it, there's no explanation of what you're supposed to do. At all. Like, I don't understand it at all. It's nothing like the rest of the game. So the game is just instantly killing me with no explanation. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just completely confused. I think I might have to look it up at this point because I can't waste more fucking time on this stupid thing. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully I make progress on Friday. Friday night's late stream will be Throwback Street Fighter fun. And then Saturday, the main stream will likely be my weekly stream of Call of Duty. That's a main gameplay stream. And Saturday night, I'm probably going to do Fall Guys. Sunday, I'm off this week. You may say, well, that's weird because you're off on Wednesday. Why are you also off on Sunday? Well, number one is because my wife's work schedule is stupid as shit. I'm not going to lie anymore. This job that she's working, you know, this new position, it's a joke. You know, she's no longer working under the same people. And they're terrible. They don't make a fucking consistent schedule. They don't give her the schedule ahead enough time to plan anything. And we're both pissed off. So now, after having her day off move every week, it's moved again. And now it's Wednesday or Sunday. We're like, well, we better take both off. Because we need to, you know, we need to shop and do stuff. But at the same time, we wanted to celebrate our wedding anniversary, which is actually the 10th, which is this Saturday. But she has to work. So, it's just simple. Wednesday, it's a day we're going out, we're getting our hair cut, we're going to run errands and do important stuff. Sunday, we're having a day for us, where we're actually going to mostly celebrate our wedding anniversary. We didn't get to celebrate our wedding anniversary last year because of COVID. It was our first ever wedding anniversary. We sat at home doing nothing because everything was closed. That was miserable. I mean, admittedly, that was a really a shitty time that a worldwide pandemic out of nowhere was affecting so many people in such a horrible way. And here we are celebrating a milestone in our lives and we couldn't celebrate it at all because of COVID, which was so terrible, you know. So this year, we're doing something. We're doing something. All right. So that's why I have both Wednesday and Sunday off. Now, the week after that, now, not to say this can't change, because with this fucking job, yes, it can. But the week after that, it looks like I'm going to be here. I'm going to be streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday straight. 5 straight days. And it looks like that fucking Saturday may be my next day off, which is terrible, because I don't want to have a weekend off. I don't want to have my day off be Saturday, have twice as many people out as would be on a normal weekday, have it be stressful as shit, but this job is fucking pissing us off. So, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you guys. Especially on a weekend, you know, a lot of people show up on a weekend to watch me stream because they're off from school and work. That's why I've made it a practice to not have weekends off, yet looks like it's going to happen. Okay? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know. But that's next week. That's neither here nor there. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. All right? Now, you may have noticed I haven't really mentioned any new games in the coming week, and there's a good reason for that. First of all, the new games that are coming out, I'm not particularly really interested in. I'll be honest with you. Star Wars Republic Commando, it's a game from the mid-2000s. I think it was like original Xbox game or something like that, and PC game. And it's being re-released. It's not really being remade. They're just porting it to modern consoles. No multiplayer. It's kind of like a crappy idea. It's like, let's make a quick buck. right? Let's port it to run on a modern console, even though we're not adding anything to it. So, even though people have told me it's a good game, I was considering playing it. I don't think it's worth it, admittedly. I just don't think it's worth it, okay? And on top of that, there's the new Oddworld game. And I played the last Oddworld game that was on PlayStation 4. I liked it, but admittedly, I didn't really understand it that much at first because I never played an Oddworld game before it. And I remember it being very long and challenging. And I also remember the first few hours, people liked it. And then after that, everyone turned on it. And basically said, this is not the kind of game that's good for streaming. That it's boring. And having to be so focused on trying to figure out these difficult puzzles wasn't very entertaining. Okay? So, I'm not saying that I don't want to play the new Oddworld game. I do. But it's not really a major priority for me. The good news is it's free under PS Plus for PlayStation 5 owners, and I am one. So what I'm likely going to do is I'm going to get it under PlayStation Plus, but I'm not going to play it right now. I'm going to save it for a future date. Maybe it's a game to balance with other stuff. I just don't see myself rushing into this game when people didn't like the last one. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Okay? Here's the thing, everybody. I'm in the midst of so many playthroughs right now, right? Like, think about it. Divinity 2, Danganronpa V3, both of those games, by the way, incredibly long games. And I knew that they were going to be long playthroughs. They're both viewers' choice playthroughs. So both of those games, excuse me, it's disgusting. Both of those games are games you guys asked for and wanted to see on the streams, right? So, those are going to be going on for a long time. When we finally do hit new releases in a couple of weeks, about 2 weeks till we start hitting major new releases, okay? Those games will continue to be played, but not as often, and some of the times they're going to go on the back burner. We may even see them as late-night streams for a bit, okay? But it was always going to be like that. Those games were a priority when there's no major releases. When the major new releases come out, then they were always planned on going to the back burner, okay? So there you go. Now, I don't see it making any sense, me taking up minor releases like this Republic Commando re-release or this new Oddworld game, when I'm in the midst of other games like these that need to be progressed as far as possible before new releases come, and then they can't be played consistently. You see? Divinity 2, Danganronpa, and Ghosts and Goblins, which I'm hoping I can beat Ghosts and Goblins soon. I'm being told that if I beat the stage that I'm stuck on, there's only one more stage in the game. So I'm nearing the end. I just need to beat this incredibly difficult stage. I'm being told this is the toughest stage in the game that I'm stuck on right now. Okay? So for me, I'm looking at things and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to start up new playthroughs that aren't big releases right now. Because I really need to hunker down and focus on what I'm doing, get as far as I can, beat Ghosts and Goblins, right? And then get ready for the new releases. If you're not aware, the major new releases that I'm planning on playing this month are MLB The Show, and that's going to become a chill stream. It'll probably start off with a major stream or two and then become a chill stream. Nier Replicant, which I'm sure is probably going to be as long as the fucking Nier Automata was, insanely long, but also quite good with the story writing. The writing itself is really good in Nier Automata. And Returnal, the PS5 exclusive that looks like it's going to be a horror game, plus like sci-fi elements. It looks really cool. I saw the gameplay of it. I was like, wow, I was actually impressed by how the gameplay was. So, those are the 3 releases for this month. Next month, we start, like, every week there's a major AAA release starting next month. So, that's what I mean. Like, I basically have now and then one more major week to focus in on the games I'm playing before we get to times when now I have to balance it with new releases. So, I'd like to finish up Ghosts and Goblins and then try to get as far as I can in these other games before they kind of cannot be full-time focus anymore. All right? So that's my mentality. I hope that makes sense. I apologize if you're disappointed because you wanted to see me play Oddworld or something right away. Honestly, Republic Commando Oddworld were never really a major focus and on my radar that much anyway. So I'd rather kind of focus in on the stuff I'm doing and get further before we get sidetracked. Okay? All right. So there you go. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major, because I already talked about the sub goal. Is there anything else major that I really want to talk about right now? And the answer is, I don't think so. I don't think I have much that I need to really talk about outside of that? I'm just trying to think, off the top of my head. The big event's tomorrow. Everyone's so excited for the birthday event tomorrow, including me. So I hope you guys are ready for the fun tomorrow. But, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your support over the years. I am an independent content creator, and that means that I am not the recipient of any sponsorships from any company, nor do I have any exclusive partnership contract with any company to stream on a particular website and get paid for just turning on my stream. The way that I make a living is through crowdfunding via you guys. You guys support my efforts to be an indie-style content creator, all right, via cheering, subbing, and tipping during the streams. And I appreciate that so much because you guys tell me through your support, you like what I do, you appreciate the kind of content I put out, and you want to see it continue to be successful. Thank you for that. I mean that. Thank you, and thank you some more for that support. It really means a lot to me. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys go out of your way to support me on a daily basis. Okay? If you cheer, sub, or tip today, I will give you a shout out, especially during Divinity. It's very easy for me to give a shout out during Divinity. It is a more interactive stream where we can have more conversation because it's a slow-paced game. Okay? In particular, if you want to help me out the most today, tipping. Tipping helps me more right now because this is a time of the month when a lot of bills and things come due. And therefore, by tipping me, you're helping me out with that. And I appreciate that in advance. Thank you for all your contributions. Okay? Hold on one second here. Okay. If you are considering tipping today, thank you in advance. We do have special reward tiers in place. If we raise $50 in tips, I'll put on a pair of Gunner glasses. If we raise $100 in tips, I'll put on a vest. Now, all the vests have reset. We did not hit the tips goal last night, so that means that the tips reset today. The vest, that is. So, the beige, the blue, the platinum, the red, and the camo vests are all eligible for today's stream. Okay? There are Tier 2 and Tier 3 tips goals, but we won't talk about those once we actually get closer to them. There's no reason to get so far ahead of ourselves in that regard. Okay? If you're a regular of the streams, I have some recommendations for you to help you out because I care about you guys, and I don't want you guys to get harassed online. Alright? I strongly recommend that whatever login or moniker, whatever you want to call it, that you're using here on Twitch, please diversify that from things you use on other places of the internet. Reason being, if you're using the same login and the same name everywhere, people may put 2 to 2 together and realize, oh, this is the same person over on Facebook. Oh, this is the same person over on Twitter. And if someone doesn't like you or has a stick up their butt about you, you don't want them then going to other sites and harassing you there, right? So I always ask people, diversify what you're doing. That way people can't go other places and try to give you trouble there. In addition, I strongly recommend you close open direct messages on Twitch. They are frequently used for online harassment purposes, nothing productive. There's no reason you need to have open DMs regardless. What's someone going to do to send you that's useful? Nothing, right? Instead, people tell me frequently that if they talk a lot on the stream or if they contribute in particular, people will DM them and harass them. That's not what you want. So I recommend turning those off. I have mindset that only people who are on my friends list can even send me any kind of a message on Twitch, okay? In regards to tipping, I strongly recommend if you're going to tip me to support the stream, please create a verified PayPal account. That means linking your personal identification information to the account to prove that you're a real human that exists rather than just a bot or someone who's trying to commit fraud by lying and saying they're someone that they're not. Usually this can be accomplished by linking your bank account, but I know there's maybe another way or two that you can do it. The reason that I ask for you to verify your account is because when it's verified, it gives me protection from fraud. I had a lot of fraud against me with fake tips over the course of the fall and winter. It caused me in thousands of dollars of losses as well as fees and all kinds of crap that hit my account. It was not a good time, all right? And I need to protect myself from ongoing fraud. Therefore, that's why I ask that you verify your account. If you don't have a verified PayPal account and you tip me, I may, and in fact, there's a strong chance I will refund the tip and not accept it, okay? So please verify your PayPal accounts. In addition to that, it's something good for you. When you go to buy and sell stuff online, if you have a verified PayPal account, they give you buyer and seller protection. So it's something free and beneficial to you outside of the streams, okay? Now, in addition to that, if you are a frequent tipper, I strongly recommend that you use a code word when you tip me. A code word is a name or word that you can use during tips so that I know it's really you. You see? And some people over the past month and a half have started doing this, frequent tippers. And I'm like, oh, it's really that person. They're tipping. I can trust it right away, count it, and move on with the stream nice and streamlined. It's really good for the purpose of, you know, the flow of the streams. Sadly, we have people who try to troll. They try to impersonate stream regulars. They'll try to act like they're them to do a big tip and then come to find out it's a fake tip. They're trying to screw me over on the back end, you see? But the code words have worked tremendously. And so if you're a frequenter, you're going to tip, please try use a code word. It helps a lot. Okay? And you know it's funny because I do this every morning. I do this brief plug segment. And people are like, does Phil really need to do this every morning? Well, considering the fact every day we get another person who does an unverified tip, and every day we get a new person who uses a code word, I'd say yes. I'd say this has been a productive thing, talking about like this in the last month and a half on every pre-stream. Obviously, a new person every day hears it, and then it helps out. Okay? So there you go. All right. So as for news today, I'm not particularly aware of much gaming news today. You know, I guess there was a 5-minute gameplay demo that was released of Resident Evil 8 on the PlayStation 4 Pro. And the game looks just as good as it did on PS5 when, you know, the demo was just released recently. What was it, a month and a half ago? And everyone's kind of like, this looks great. We're so excited. But I have to say, then why was the game originally advertised as a next-gen exclusive if it obviously can run perfectly fine on the PS4 Pro? It has no issues, right? Like, I'm a little confused as to why they were going to sell it as a next-gen exclusive. I guess they were hoping that, like, everyone would have a next-gen console who wanted one, which is not the case. I think they did a statistic, and they said only about 60% of people who are seeking a PlayStation 5 own one. That there's still a giant junk of gamers out there that want it and cannot buy it because of scalping. So, I'm a little confused in that regard. Why were they going to sell this game as a next-gen exclusive when it runs fine on PlayStation 4? I mean, I don't know. But I guess the big highlight is that it shows, what's her name? The vampire lady throws a bureau across the room and it breaks. And like, okay, that's great. What's the big deal? What's the big deal exactly? Am I supposed to be impressed? She's obviously not human, right? No human would live in that fucking pigsty of a house that we went through during the demo. So, obviously, I don't know. I don't get, you guys know me. I don't really get hype about this stuff. People get so over-the-top hype and stupid, right? Like, the discussion right now is, oh, did you hear Resident Evil 8 is going to have a photo mode? So we're going to get to do upskirt shots of the vampire woman. And take big pictures of her big booty. It's like, Jesus, can you be more fucking immature? It's not what the game's about, you stupid idiot. Any game that has a woman in it now, these fucking disgusting horn dogs have to fucking just sexualize everything. She wants to rip your guts out and eat them. This isn't about fucking sex, you fucking idiot. These people are so dumb. It's really, it just melts my brain how dumb these fucking people are. And this is what they're talking about. It's supposed to be a horror game. She wants to rip your limbs off and eat the flesh off of them right in front of you while you're still alive. Incredible pain and suffering and death. And you want to talk about her boobs. You're a fucking idiot. That's all I have to say. Alright? Really stupid. Anyway. I digress. The other thing is that, once again, Cyberpunk has again released another major patch. Oh boy. Yeah, remember that game Cyberpunk 2077? No, I don't either. But here we are in April, and they're still releasing performance patches for it. Okay? What's funny is, apparently, all of these performance patches that they've been adding to the game really aren't doing anything for the worst versions of the game. From what I'm to understand, the original Xbox and original PlayStation 4 versions of the game are still absolutely god-awful. Like, they're not better at all. In fact, what they're saying is really these patches have only kind of improved the performance of the PlayStation 4 Pro version of the game. So if you have a PS4 Pro, you're in luck. The game's a lot more stable now. But outside of that, the game is still terrible. And by the way, there have been 0 gameplay improvements, 0 additions to the actual game at all. It's just tweaking the game to make it stop being so wonky and having bugs and glitches. Like, that's it. So, it's just crazy to me to think about this. The game came out in fucking November, guys. I take that back. The game came out in December. Sorry, I misspoke. Here we are, what? 4 months later? And all they've done is put out a series of performance patches, and it's only for one console, and it's not improving anything for anyone else, right? At this point, people were expecting they were going to have a DLC. They were expecting that, you know, we'd have news about the multiplayer, which, by the way, the multiplayer was canceled. So, yeah. It's funny because it's almost like you don't think about it, and then you get an update, and you're like, oh, maybe they finally redeemed the game. Nope. Okay, let's wait another month, right? It's just, I don't know. I really have no hope for the game. You know, people ask me, are you going to play it again? No. I hated it. I seriously thought the game was terrible. There was almost no fun in the game at all. Like I told you guys, probably about 80 to 90% of the time I was playing the game, I hated it. There was only maybe, what was that, a 40-hour playthrough, 45 hours? Probably 5 to 10 hours that I was having a good time. So, you know, that's, I don't care about it. But it's constantly in the news because it really is the biggest failure story of gaming in the last, like, decade. So, anyway, that's it. Unless we get more information, I don't really have much else to talk about it, okay? All right, let's get the shout-outs. Let's get the shout-outs for people who've contributed during the stream today. Let me see here. Scroll down. We start off with some cheers from Fantasy Star PG. First, he says, you heard of Sony downsizing its Japan studios due to games like White Knight Chronicles, Knack, and The Last Guardian not doing very well. Instead of downsizing, do you think Sony should have just removed the studio's team by hiring people that have experience with games like Final Fantasy and Resident Evil to help the studio get back to its heyday of Legend of Dragoon and Shadow of the Colossus? Well, I mean, let's just examine the 3 games you just mentioned. White Knight Chronicles. I don't even know what that is. I don't. I have no clue what that is. And I'm someone who plays games for a living, and I don't even know what the hell that game is. Now, not to say that I'm the most informed guy on the planet, but you would think at least I would have some idea of what the hell it is, right? So it must be pretty obscure if I've never really even heard of it. Okay. Knack. Let's talk about Knack. Knack was a tech demo for the launch of PlayStation 4. Much like Rise, Son of Rome, it was a game that really, on paper, would you really buy that and play it? Probably not. But the fact that it showed off the graphical capabilities of what PS4 could do at its very inception allowed it to sell many copies. So they decided to make a sequel. Bad idea. By the time the sequel came out, the PlayStation 4 had already gone beyond the capabilities of the first game. So it wasn't a good tech demo anymore, you know? It just didn't really, you already seen better things happening on PlayStation 4, so why'd you care about Knack 2? I played it. It was pretty boring. It was a pretty boring game. And it didn't sell very well either. Knack 1 was a great seller because it was a launch title. Knack 2, not even close. Okay? And after that, they never made another one. Last Guardian, I mean, we know what a horror story that was. This is a studio that pumped out 2 really great games, right? You had Ico, which wasn't as popular, and Shadow of the Colossus that became kind of a fan favorite, what do they call it, a cult classic, that not only did it sell well on PS2, but then it had a remaster that sold in HD, and this game sold a ridiculous amount of copies over time. So, Last Guardian, oh, we're going to do things that are revolutionary and innovative and you've never seen in a game before. And that was like 10 years before the game released. By the time the game released, we'd seen those things in other games already that it was done better. It just was not an impressive game at all. It was a frustrating, annoying fucking game, actually. It just, I'm sorry, it wasn't a great game. It was very disappointing for the insane amount of wait that it took for that game to come out. It just did not live up to any of the expectation, right? So the games you're talking about here, all right, from this Japan studio, let's think about it. Not huge hits, right? Or in the case of Knack, a huge hit for a reason that's basically, by default, it's going to sell, and then you can't follow up on that success with anything, right? So they haven't really pumped out anything great in the last 10, 15 years. So what did you think would happen? You know, now some people are very sad because the Japan studios did pump out a lot of original games kind of back in the day. And to see it go away, obviously there's resentment and disappointment there. Okay? But, and I have to agree to some extent, the artistic vision of a company, when you have an entire studio that's doing things creatively, even if they don't pan out financially, it's good to at least see people trying to do something different. You know what I mean? Hey, at least the Japan studio didn't pump out a bunch of generic FPS and sports games. Right? Yeah, at least you could say that. But I hate to say it, sadly, that's not business. You know, in business, you've got to pump a profit out. You've got to make something that's going to be productive and sell, and they just haven't done that in a long time. So, I mean, this is not shocking. Now, what you're saying is, should they bring in other devs from other franchises? I mean, no. No. I don't think so. You shouldn't bring in devs who've worked on Final Fantasy and other things, you know. You let them fly, you let them have creative control. At the very least, Sony didn't step in and say, okay, we're taking over, now make a fucking looter shooter, right? Look what happened. Look what happened with BioWare. We know you're good at what you do. You maybe had a few missteps. Now make a looter shooter for us. Wait, what? But we make narrative-based RPGs. I said make a looter shooter. Do it. Okay, here's Anthem, a piece of donkey shit. Enjoy, stupid. So at least they didn't do that. You know, they were allowed to do what they wanted to do. The Last Guardian could have been canceled with the amount of delays and the amount of issues that the game had during its development cycle. At least it wasn't. It just sucks that the final product, after all that hype and build-up, ended up not being so good, right? So, it's sad to see the Japan studio go. At the same time, it's inevitable in business. If you can't pump out a product that the people want, you're not going to be around for long, you know? What can you do? That's life. That's business. Fantasy Star PG cheered and says, have you tried Oreo Java coffee flavor? I'm not a coffee drinker, but it has a powerful coffee taste. No, I've never had anything like that. Virgatodo has done a 1,050-bit cheer, which is the biggest cheer of the day so far, so let's get that up on the leaderboard. He says, Lucifer Soul's trying to impress a cute white girl. Gee, I wonder if Virgatodo could possibly be related to Lucifer Soul. I don't know. To think about that. Anyway. Lucifer Soul's trying to impress a cute white girl with cooking skills. She says she likes lasagna. What is the best pasta, cheese, and sauce help to get some pussy? First of all, if you really think that cooking lasagna is going to get a girl in bed, you should probably think twice. Women are very complex creatures. They're beautiful and need respect. You don't think you're going to shove pasta into a girl's mouth and immediately you're going to sleep with her. It's disgusting, it's immature, and it's fucked up. You got to rethink your strategy. That being said, if you want to talk pasta, you know, let's talk. All right? For the actual noodles, if you're going to get store-bought ones, I recommend like Bertolli or something like that. Not Bertolli, excuse me. Barilla. Barilla pasta. That's the one that I usually get if I'm going to have homemade, you know, pasta for dinner. Barilla pasta. Although I'm sure there's more authentic ones that cost more. That's the cheaper one that's still pretty good. Cheese. Well, for lasagna, there's two kinds of cheese that are needed. All right? The first kind of cheese is ricotta. Ricotta cheese is the cheese that's supposed to go between the noodles. All right? Think cottage cheese, but not as salty and like rubbery. Instead, it kind of crumbles, and it's very flavorful. Okay? Then, you need mozzarella cheese to be melted on the top of the lasagna. So there's two kinds of cheese. There's the ricotta cheese that goes between the layers, and then a top layer of mozzarella cheese. All right? Sauce, I mean, that's to your liking. Most store-bought sauce sucks ass. Seriously, like, I hate most store-bought sauces. They're not very good. Any of them. Ragu, oh, you're kidding me? It's like fucking drinking, like fucking drinking tomato water. You know? They don't season. That's the problem. They don't really season their sauces very well, most of the store-bought ones. You want to go with, you got to go with an expensive one. Look for something that's like pricey, you know, something that's $5 or more a jar, you know, because usually those are going to have a wider variety of ingredients and fresher ingredients and a lot of spices. Most of those big batch sauces, they're just fucking very bland, and that's why they're not good. They just taste like you're drinking, you know, might as well just buy a can of fucking tomato paste and eat it out of the can. It tastes the same. So, keep in mind, I'm someone who has always had access to really good Italian sauce because my mom made it for most of my life, and then, you know, the past 5-6 years, I've made my own sauce based on my mom's recipe, and I have tweaked it over the years. All right? So, sauce, I don't know what to tell you. Unless you have access to someone who really knows how to make homemade sauce, you got to go with something store-bought, but I would go with something pricey. Okay? Now, in addition to that, a good lasagna should have some kind of a focus. For example, meat lasagna has some seasoned ground beef in it. Veggie lasagna could have some delicious vegetables on the top. Broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, tomato chunks, stuff like that. I've seen all kinds of different lasagna. All right? Personally, plain cheese lasagna is pretty good. Or meat lasagna. Those are my two favorites. But I've seen all kinds of different lasagna over the years that are possible. All right? It's the best advice I can give you. Good luck. And by the way, stop being a disgusting human thinking you're going to sleep with a woman because you made her a fucking lasagna. Grow up. All right. That Beaver Eats Taco Bell. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you to That Beaver Eats Taco Bell for a sub. I appreciate that. Burger Toto cheered again. 245 bits. And he says, would it be too much to ask... No, to drop this dumb fuck. He's talking about Divinity 2. He's, can you drop this dumb fuck game and start an Oblivion playthrough telling tale of Jasper's time during the Oblivion crisis? What? Tell the tale of Jasper the kitty during the Oblivion crisis. That sounds like a good idea. Very nice. Okay, then. No, we're not doing that. The Divinity 2 playthrough is a viewer's choice. So, Vergatoto did another 1050-bit cheer and said, if tomorrow is your birthday, that means today is Phil's birthday eve. Woohoo, bring out the strippers and start eating their ass. Vergatoto, you're a disgusting individual, right? We know this. You're a very disgusting, revolting person with the things that you say. If you remember, there was someone else who was similar to that. I'm trying to remember what their name was. I think their name might have been like Lucifer Soul or something like that. If I remember, they got banned for being a disgusting individual on my stream. I wonder if history will repeat itself. I wonder. Then Vergatoto cheered again and said Resident Evil 4 Fallout 3 would be an amazing retro replay. In the case of those, I would agree with both. I've only played Resident Evil 4 once. It was a long time ago. And Fallout 3 I played when it was a new release, and then I played again, but they were both very old playthroughs. I haven't touched that game in a very long time. So there you go. CM Fool has did the first tip of the day. It is a $4.20 tip. He says, pop quiz, what's the story of Dynasty Warriors? Well, in China, everyone hates everyone. And they all put on this fancy, colorful armor and do crazy choreographed attacks with all kinds of elemental abilities, like flame or ice or water, wind. And they do these big flailing attacks that can attack maybe like 40, 50 people at once. And they knock them all on their asses with giant flourishes and explosions. And then there's this guy named Lu Bu. And he's a crazy badass motherfucker. And he's like got a giant spear. And he stabs the shit out of people with it. And that's the story of Dynasty Warriors. Vergatoto cheered. He says, were you ever forced to get the black cross of ash on your forehead when you were a kid during this time of year? Yes. Ash Wednesday. Absolutely. It's part of the Roman Catholic religion. On Ash Wednesday, you put the ashes on your forehead in order to show that you're a Christian. You proudly display it as a part of your faith. There you go. Tokage Tony is here today. Did a 100-bit cheer. He says, I know you're a Street Fighter man. Have you ever thought about adding Tekken to the mix as well? I played Tekken back in the day in the 90s. I actually won a Tekken tournament, and I have a trophy for winning that tournament in my office right now. I like Tekken, but Street Fighter was always my thing. Street Fighter was always the one that I focused most time on and focused on and got competitive with. Tekken's fun, and when a new Tekken game comes out, I'll play it for a month or two. And in fact, that's exactly what happened with Tekken 7. Whatever the latest Tekken is, I don't even know which one it is. 7, 8? I don't even remember. But I played through the story. I tried out a bunch of the different characters and online modes and the like. And then I kind of got bored with it because the thing is about fighting games. If you're going to play them on a cursory level, an introductory level, they're fun for about a month. And then it kind of gets boring because then you try to play online, you get all these tryhards who learned all the high-level competitive strategies. And unless you get further and deeper into the game, you really end up not being able to hang anymore. All right? Now, that's just the nature with any competitive game. If I actually wanted to focus in on Tekken or any other fighting game and play them at a high level, I would have to sink an incredible amount of regular time into it. Like Tekken, I'd have to play it 2-3 times a week likely in order to actually stay at a level where I could win matches, okay? The reason I can jump into Street Fighter the way that I do and win is because I have an incredible amount of experience under my belt. I used to play Street Fighter all the time in arcades through the 90s and 2000s. I've been playing Street Fighter for so long that I already have a wealth of knowledge under my belt that I can pull upon or draw upon no matter what Street Fighter game I'm playing. You know, even Street Fighter 5 to some extent, it really doesn't play like the old school ones, but just having those little bit of fundamentals that I know, I can still squeak out wins with Ryu, which makes no sense, but it's I barely play the game, yet I beat people every time I play it, right? So that being said, with Tekken, I played it for about 2 months, and then I kind of got bored with it. I was like, man, the only way that I'm going to be able to continue to play and have fun and get wins is play the shit out of this game. I'm a variety streamer. You know, I just had no desire to play it at that level. I just didn't. I just didn't want to go that much into it. So I just basically dropped it and never went back to it. That's not to say that one day I might not find another fighting game that I like so much that I want to play it on a regular basis. I'll be honest with all of you, I'm surprised I've played Black Ops Cold War so much and so successfully in the last 5 months. 4 months? It came out in November, right? So, all right, 4 months? Can you believe it? I play it 2-3 times a week. I usually have, even with the connection sucking ass, I usually have fun. The game has a ton of content. I can always switch weapons, and, you know, I generally do pretty decently. I'm not, like, that's not par for the course, right? So, it has shocked me that I've been able to do that, and that's what I mean. Like, these online multiplayer games, typically I don't do that. So, same thing with fighting games. It's usually the same thing where I'll play it for like a month, and then I'll drop it, but if I find a fighting game that holds my interest, that I feel I want to learn at a higher level, and I want to play as competitively, as consistently as, say, I've played Black Ops Cold War, then I would. It just hasn't happened, okay? It just hasn't happened. And I'll be honest, people constantly come to the stream, are you going to play this fighting game? Are you going to play that one? I don't know. And asking me to just do a random stream, there's no point. Right now, if I played Tekken, it would be a waste of everyone's time, being honest. I haven't played the game in years. And I'd be so out of the loop of how it's played competitively, I'd get completely demolished every fucking match. I would. Every match. I'd just be completely destroyed. There's no point in even playing it. But if a new one comes out, then I'll give it a shot. Okay? Rob on Wheels is here today. What's going on, Rob? It's good to see you today. He's tipped me $30, which is a very generous tip. Thank you so much, Rob. Let's get this on the leaderboard here. I hope you're doing well, by the way. I haven't seen you in a while, so I hope that everything's going well with you. Gets up to $34. Oops, $34 in tips, and he says, happy birthday for tomorrow. I wanted to give this to you before I forget. Well, thank you very much, Rob. I appreciate that. I guess that means maybe you can't be here tomorrow. Well, that's a shame, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for this early contribution. I appreciate that so much, sir. All right. Continuing on. Captain Div did 100-bit cheers. Could you give a shout out to my buddy King Cook 69? Thanks. There you go. Shout out to King Cook 69 yet again. Goes to Hyrule just cheered and said, excuse me, Timmy $1.30 says, if someone makes me lasagna, I'm dropping my pants. Wow. Hopefully it's for good reasons and not because the lasagna made you, you know, so incredibly flatulent or, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue. Robot Wizard cheered. 75 bits. He says, good morning. What do you have for breakfast today? I had a blueberry bagel with butter. And he says, how was the chocolate cake yesterday? And shout out to Ratty Bag. There was no chocolate cake yesterday. I don't know what you're talking about. My wife is making me my birthday cake tonight, and I'm not having it till tomorrow. Timbo Slice cheered. He says, he could just buy an amazing Michelangelo's lasagna with meat sauce. It makes any girl go wild. Alrighty then. That's the one that I eat, the frozen one, by the way. Michelangelo's. Mathia Yasuki just did 100-bit cheers. So if you consider trying out Ultra Street Fighter 4 during your Street Fighter streams, since Street Fighter 5 is what it is, it might have somewhat of a player base. Well, again, it's the same deal. With Street Fighter 4, I played Vanilla, which means the original version of the game, which lasted about a year. I played it pretty hardcore. I went and played tournaments in it. I wasn't great at it. I was okay at it, okay? But I was a variety content creator. I didn't want to just play Street Fighter. So because of that, I never really focused in enough to become a high-level competitive player in any capacity. So I always just kind of remained kind of blah average, and I lost a ton. Especially in tournaments, I would always lose to like Sagat, who was incredibly overpowered in that version. Now, over the years, Street Fighter 4 had a million versions, remember? It was like Super Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4 Hyper Turbo, you know, Ultra Rainbows, and all that shit. By the time the game was done, I didn't care about it anymore. There was so many versions, and every time a version came out, you had to totally relearn the game because they kept rebalancing it. I remember in the first, like, 2 versions, Fei Long was absolutely terrible, and then all of a sudden he was the best character in the game. For no good reason. They're just idiots. They just kept rebalancing and fucking it up. But it's the same thing with Tekken. If in order for me to play a game like that, I would have to sit down and play it consistently over time. If right now I said I canceled the Divinity 2 stream, let's play Ultra Street Fighter 4, I would probably just lose. I need to play a game and learn all the characters and learn the consistency of everything before I can win. And that's the thing. It's not like you guys think. You guys think that it's so easy to jump in competitively to a game. It's not. It would be a waste of time. To me, sitting down at a game like that, not knowing what the hell I'm doing, it's not fun. It's frustrating and annoying and boring. I want to sit down and know what I'm doing so I can hang. You know what I mean? Why play a competitive game if you don't even know what the fucking ins and outs of the game are? There's no point to it. So, no, I'm not going to jump into Street Fighter 4. I'm years and years outdated at that game, and anyone who's played it in any capacity in the last 5 to 6 years will likely destroy me. Okay. Meg from Meg Cheer says, why do your viewers ask you to play a game and then ask you to drop it later? Because it's not all the same people. That's why. I have a diverse viewer base. I have people who watch me from all walks of life from all over the world. Typically when we have an event where it's like an event where it's viewer's choice, where people can nominate and vote on stuff, there's a certain group of people who will step up and put in the extra effort to, example, register for my forums, nominate a game, campaign to have people then nominate it as well, get it into the final poll, vote on it. It's a certain kind of person. They put a little bit of extra effort in, you know what I'm saying? But then you have the silent majority, the people who don't do that stuff, but every once in a while they'll speak up. And so, for example, last year, a ton of people nominated and voted Divinity 2. I knew what the game was. I knew it was an insanely long, slow-paced RT... What's it called? What kind of RPG is it? I forget exactly what it's called. There's a word for it, a terminology for this kind of RPG. Okay? I knew what it was. But the problem is, the people who nominate and vote for it, probably like 50 people. How many people come into my streams? Hundreds. How many people watch my videos on YouTube? Thousands. And if you actually take a look, alright? If you actually take a look, the viewership for the Divinity 2 on YouTube is terrible. It's awful. They don't even get 1,000 views per video. I get more views, literally, on every other game I'm playing than Divinity 2. And I knew this. I knew that the people who wanted to see me play this kind of a game were small. But those are the people who spoke up. Those are the people who put in the extra effort, and now I have to play this game. And by the way, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Being exposed to a variety of games is a good thing. Her truck outside. It can't be my wife. She's not supposed to come home till 3 o'clock. Hold on a second. I don't think that's my wife. I heard car outside, but I don't think it's my wife. I was going to say, she's not coming home until 3 o'clock. Why would she be home now? Made me nervous. I'm like, oh, I hope everything's okay. You know? Anyway. All that being said, I'm okay with playing a variety of games. I just have a problem with it ends up being a game. It's going to be a 100-hour playthrough, right? And so then you get people who don't want to see it, and they're upset that I have to play it so much. I mean, I hear you. At the same time, I'm actually happy. I am enjoying the game. Now that I've gotten further into the game, I'm at the point now in the game where I'm having fun because my characters are leveled up. They have builds to each one. You know what I'm saying? And it's at a point where it's more enjoyable now. I would say the first 10 to 15 hours were kind of slow-paced and boring, but the game's better with me now. It is better. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. But this is it. Like, you get people who step up and nominate on a game, but it's not the majority. It's a certain group of people who want to see a certain kind of game. And then later on, everyone else speaks up, oh, well, we didn't really want to see that. Well, then you should have spoken up during the time period when you could have nominated and voted down games. You know what I'm saying? Well, sadly, not everyone puts in that effort. Okay. Robot Wizard Cheers said, Phil, are we getting the DSP tries it? What are you going to devour? Shout out to Cheerio Eater Loves Pokemon. I'm not revealing anything about it. It'll be a surprise tomorrow. Daryl Jensen Cheers, I think the last thing Lucifer should do to learn how to get laid is ask Darkside Phil, right, Phil? What? Okay. Anyway, I shrug. I don't even know what you're talking about. I received an anonymous dollar tip, and this person in particular wants me to check to see if their account is showing up as verified or not. So give me a second so I can do that for them. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to do that. In the meantime, Local Nomad did a 200-bit cheers that there's a lot of hype around Battlefield 6 because the trailer is expected soon. Assuming the game releases around the same time as Call of Duty, will you play both or just one? I'd play both. Absolutely, I would play both. I'm excited for excuse me. I'm excited for a new Battlefield. We need one because Battlefield has been basically crappy, right? It really has been. The last 2 outings, Battlefield 1 and then Battlefield 5 were both terrible games. So I absolutely would like to see a new Battlefield. And hopefully it's good and it will actually compete with Call of Duty. All right, so this anonymous tipper, I can tell you, yes, you're verified. Thank you for verifying your account and checking with me, and thank you for the dollar tip. I appreciate that. Captain Div cheered and said, who's your favorite actor and why is it Tom Cruise? I do not have a favorite actor, although if I look at people who I've seen in multiple movies over the years, I would say someone like Bill Murray or comedic actors, usually some of my favorites, like John Candy was really good, Dan Aykroyd's really good. You know who I really like? Hugh Jackman. I've seen Hugh Jackman in action movies. I've seen Hugh Jackman in dramas. I've seen him in musicals. That guy has range. So I would actually say Hugh Jackman I really like these days. There you go. Robot Wizard cheered. He says, Phil, could we see Jasper today? He's half the reason I'm here, and shout out to the She-Wolf. The door is open. My wife, I believe, doesn't get out of work until like 3 p.m., so she won't be here until like 3:30. So if Jasper wishes to come into the office, he can. He was in here earlier, and we were playing, but I think he left the office. I think he's sleeping on the bed right now in the bedroom. So if he comes in, great. But if not, all right. Eternal Napalm cheered. He says, I heard you're doing a playthrough for a game you already played in 2015 or earlier. I nominate the original Red Dead Redemption. Well, there you go. However, I'll be honest with you, Eternal Napalm. I already replayed that. If you remember, in the year before Red Dead 2 came out, I actually went back and replayed Red Dead Redemption 1 because I wanted to give myself a background for when the sequel came out. You see? So, because of that, I don't know if I would want to do that. We've already played it. There's already been a a retro replay of that game in HD and everything. Now, I think that was it before I was doing interactive streams? I can't remember. I think it was actually the year that I just started doing interactive streaming. So I appreciate the nomination. However, I did play it recently, so likely that one's just not going to happen. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's Monday. Per Twitch's criteria, on Monday, this is the day when everything resets, including the leaderboards. So, what we have today on the leaderboard is people who cheered this morning, and that's it, and people who gifted subs today, which is nobody. Okay? Oh my god, excuse me. So that being said, let's give a shout out to those who cheered today. In 10th place, we got actually the tie for 9th between Timbo and Meg from Meg. In 8th place, Eternal Napalm. In 7th place, Mathia Yasuki. Actually, there's a triple tie for 5th between Fantasy Star PG, Tokage Tony, and Mathia Yasuki. In 4th place is Robot Wizard 64. 3rd place, actually the tie for 2nd between Local Nomad and Captain Div. And in 1st place, of course, Vergatoda. With all those cheers this morning. Okay? All right. Ladies and gents, thank you for your support so far. Let's take a break. I'm going to use the restroom. I recommend during this break you use the opportunity to use the restroom or grab a drink, a snack, or whatever you need to do. When I come back, It's the start of our gameplay of Divinity 2. Like I said, I'm going to need your guys' help because I need to know what did I forget or leave undone in Fort Joy before we leave. I know we have the enchanted chest. They're the cursed chest. But outside of that, I don't really know anything else. If you guys can help me out to find some stuff for things that are left over, I would appreciate that. I just received a $5 tip from Technical2070. He says, "You're my hero." Thank you, Technical2070. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the support as well. I don't know why I'd be anyone's hero, but thank you for that. Appreciate that. We're now up to $41 in tips. Thank you guys for the support. All right, it is break time. I shall return shortly. Thank you guys for being patient, and I will see you in a bit for Divinity 2. All right.